The salvaged ship, worthless venture, drifted through the debris field like a metal insect picking through garbage. Captain Crix stood at the helm, his 4 arms working different controls at once. He was a Vortellian, tall and covered in dark green chitin that clicked when he moved. His large black eyes scanned the floating wreckage outside. "Another day, another pile of human trash," Crix muttered. This area of space was called the human graveyard. 700 years ago, Earth's sun had exploded. The human race died with it. Now, only broken ships and shattered stations remained, spinning slowly in the dark. Most salvage crews avoided this place. The pickings were poor. Human technology was old and primitive compared to modern galactic standards. But Crix didn't mind. Scrap was scrap, and it paid for fuel. At the scanning station, a young woman named Hannah watched her screen carefully. She had black hair tied back in a simple ponytail and wore the same gray coveralls as the rest of the crew. Her hands moved over the controls with practiced ease. "Captain, I'm reading a metallic object at coordinates 74 Mark 9, she said. Crix brought the ship around. Through the viewport, they could see it. A cube, about the size of a large box, tumbled slowly through space. Strange barnacle-like creatures covered most of its surface. They were space-dwelling organisms that attached to anything that floated for too long. "Looks like it's been out here for centuries," said Crix. "Bring it in." The ship's mechanical arm extended and grabbed the cube. It pulled the object into the cargo bay with a dull thud. Crix left the bridge and walked down the narrow corridor to check it out. Hannah followed close behind. In the cargo bay, the cube sat on the metal floor. It was bigger than Hannah had thought, nearly a meter on each side. Most of it was covered in the crusty space barnacles, but patches of dark metal showed through. Crix pulled out his scanner and ran it over the cube. He looked at the results and made a disgusted clicking sound with his mandibles. "Inert material," he said. "No power source. No valuable metals. Just another piece of junk." He kicked the cube with one of his 3-toed feet. "Into the compactor with it." "Wait," Hannah said quickly. "Maybe we should clean it first. Check it properly." Crix looked at her with his large eyes. "You want to waste time on this?" "Hannah, you've been with us for 2 years. You should know trash when you see it." "I just think, the compactor," Crix said firmly. "We have real salvage to find." 2 of the crew members grabbed the cube and carried it toward the waste compactor at the back of the bay. Hannah watched them go, her jaw tight. As they lifted it into the compactor's mouth, she saw something that made her heart skip. On one side of the cube, where the barnacles had been scraped off by handling, she saw marks, letters, Korean characters carved into the metal, Haimang, hope. Her breath caught in her throat. She knew that writing. It was from Earth, from her people. The compactor's door closed with a clang. Hannah heard the grinding of gears starting up inside. "Captain, I need to use the waste bay," she said suddenly. Crix had already turned to leave. "Whatever," he said without looking back. Hannah ran. The compactor cycle took 5 minutes before it ejected waste into space. She had maybe 3 minutes left. She pulled open the maintenance panel and hit the emergency stop button. The grinding noise stopped. She climbed into the compactor, her boots slipping on the greasy metal. The cube was there, wedged between bags of actual garbage. She grabbed it and pulled. It was heavy, but she managed to drag it out. Her room was small, barely large enough for a bed and a locker. She shoved the cube under her bed and covered it with a blanket. Her hands were shaking. For 700 years, the galaxy had believed all humans were dead. They were wrong. Thousands had survived, scattered across the galaxy, hiding, disguised as other species, living in the shadows. Hannah was one of them. So was her brother. She pulled out her communicator and sent a coded message. "Need you. My room. Now." 10 minutes later, her door opened. A young man slipped inside. Day looked human like Hana, but he wore a facial modifier that made him appear to be a Rendalian, a species that looked almost human except for slight differences in bone structure. When he deactivated it, his real face showed. "What's wrong?" Day asked. He worked in the engine room of the ship. Hana pulled out the cube. Together they scraped off the remaining barnacles with a tool. More Korean characters appeared, along with human letters and numbers, some kind of serial code. "It's from Earth," Hana whispered. "Before the end." Day ran his fingers over the engravings. "It looks like a storage container, maybe a time capsule." Hana touched the surface of the cube with her palm. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the cube began to hum. It was so soft she could barely hear it, more of a vibration than a sound. The siblings looked at each other with wide eyes. "It's responding to you," Day said. "To your touch." "To human touch," Hana corrected. The humming grew slightly louder. Along one edge of the cube, a thin line of blue light appeared. "What do we do?" Day asked. Hana thought about the word carved into the metal. Hope. Someone from Earth, 700 years ago, had sent this into space. They had called it hope. They had meant for it to be found. "We open it," she said. Hana sat cross-legged on the floor of her tiny room, staring at the cube. The blue light along its edge pulsed slowly, like a heartbeat. Day knelt beside her, his scanner in hand. "I'm not reading any dangerous radiation," he said. "But there's definitely power inside. How is that possible? Crix's scanner said it was inert." "Maybe it only activates for humans," Hana said. She reached out and touched the blue light. It felt warm. "Try talking to it," Day suggested. "In Korean." Hana felt foolish, but she spoke anyway. "Open," she said in Korean. "Please open." The humming stopped. For 3 seconds, nothing happened. Then the cube began to unfold. It was beautiful. Panels shifted and slid with perfect precision. The cube expanded, pieces moving outward like a metal flower blooming. In seconds, it had transformed from a simple box into a complex structure the size of a small table. At its center, a holographic display flickered to life. Korean text scrolled across it, then English, then Mandarin, cycling through human languages. "Legacy Archive 4, the display read. "Authenticated, human DNA detected." "Legacy Archive?" Day breathed. "What does that mean?" More text appeared. "Speak your name." "Hana," she said. Her voice cracked. "Day," her brother added. The display changed. A map of the galaxy appeared, with 12 points marked in gold. One of them pulsed red. 12 archives were launched before Earth's destruction, the text explained. "You have activated Archive 4. 3 others have been found. 8 remain hidden." "Before Earth's destruction?" Hana read aloud. "They knew it was coming?" The display shifted again. Now it showed files, thousands of them, blueprints, scientific formulas, technical specifications, medical data, cultural records. The archive was a library, a museum, a university, all compressed into this device. Day's hands flew over the holographic interface. His eyes went wide as he opened file after file. "Hana," he said quietly, This is beyond anything the galaxy has. Look at this engine design. It's faster than light travel without needing dimensional rifts. And this is matter replication technology. And weapons. Stars above, these weapons could... "Could what?" Hana asked. Day opened a file. The hologram showed a simulation of a star. Then it showed that star collapsing, dying in seconds. "Destabilize stars," he finished. "This technology is 700 years old, and it's still more advanced than anything in the galaxy today." Hana felt cold. "No wonder they feared us." "What do you mean?" Hana navigated through the archive until she found a section labeled Historical records. She opened the final entry. A video began to play. A woman appeared in the hologram. She wore a white lab coat and looked exhausted. Behind her, alarms flashed red. "My name is Dr. Park," the woman said in Korean. "It is April 17th, 2147. If you're watching this, Earth is gone. We sent out 12 archives before the end, hoping that our people might survive somewhere, hoping our knowledge wouldn't die with us." The woman paused, closing her eyes. "The Galactic Council discovered our dimensional research. They learned we were close to achieving ascension, moving humanity to a higher state of existence. They couldn't allow it. A species that could exist in higher dimensions would be beyond their control." Dr. Park looked directly at the camera. "They're going to destroy our sun. We have 3 hours. We can't stop it. But we can save what we were, what we knew, what we might become. To whoever finds this, don't let them forget. Don't let our deaths mean nothing." The video ended. Hana and Day sat in silence. All their lives, they'd been told that Earth's sun had simply gone supernova. A natural disaster. Tragic, but no one's fault. It was murder. "We have to tell the others," Day said. "The other humans in hiding. They need to know." "The archive," Hana said, pointing at the display. "It says 3 others have been found. Maybe there are more humans out there, more organized." Day worked the controls. "There's a communication function. It can send a signal, encrypted on human frequencies from before the end. If anyone is listening—" "Do it," Hana said. Day activated the signal. A soft tone pulsed from the archive, repeating every few seconds. That's when the ship's alarm went off. Hana and Day jumped to their feet. The archive automatically folded back into a cube, the hologram disappearing. Red lights flashed in the corridor outside. Hana's door slammed open. Crix stood there, his forearms spread wide, blocking the exit. "What did you do?" he demanded. "My sensors just detected an unauthorized transmission from this room, and now there's a Council security ship approaching at high speed." "Captain, I can explain." "You're human," Crix said. It wasn't a question. His large eyes fixed on her face. "By the void, you're actually human. Both of you." Day stepped forward. "Listen, we didn't mean to bring trouble to your ship." "Trouble?" Crix's mandibles clicked in agitation. "A Council security ship? Do you know what they'd do to anyone caught helping humans? We're all dead." "You've killed my entire crew." The ship shuddered. Something had hit their shields. "This is Galactic Council Security Officer Veltrax," a voice boomed through the ship's communication system. "You have illegal technology aboard. Power down your engines and prepare to be boarded." Crix looked at the cube at Hana's feet, then back at her face. "Please," Hana said. "That archive contains the truth about what happened to Earth. The Council destroyed us because they were afraid of us." "I don't care about your conspiracy theories," Crix snapped. But he didn't move. His claws twitched. Another impact. The shields were failing. Then a new voice came through the communication system. This one was human, speaking Korean. "Unknown salvage vessel, this is Pilot Yuri of the Free Fleet. I'm detecting human biosigns on your ship. Hold on. I'm coming to get you out." On the viewport screens, they saw a small ship appear from nowhere, shimmering as its stealth systems deactivated. It was sleek and fast, and it opened fire on the Council ship with weapons that burned blue-white. "Who are these people?" Crix shouted. Hana grabbed the cube and smiled. "Our people," she said. The corridor shook as another blast hit the ship. Hana grabbed onto the wall to steady herself. Day had the cube tucked under his arm, holding it tight. "This way!" Crix shouted. His forearms moved quickly, grabbing emergency supplies from a storage locker. Whatever else he was a survivor. They ran toward the cargo bay. Behind them, they could hear the sound of cutting torches. Veltrax's team was already breaching the outer hull. In the cargo bay, a new hole had appeared in the floor. Yuri's ship had docked underneath, cutting through the worthless Venture's belly. A young woman climbed through the opening wearing a slim black flight suit. She had short black hair and carried 2 pistols. "I'm Yuri," she said in Korean, then switched to Galactic Common. "We need to move now." "I'm not leaving my ship," Crix said. A blast door at the far end of the cargo bay exploded inward. 3 Council security officers pushed through, wearing heavy armor and carrying plasma rifles. They opened fire immediately. Crix screamed and dove for cover. Yuri's pistols came up and she fired back. Her weapons made a sharp cracking sound, different from normal energy weapons. Where her shots hit, the security officers' shields failed instantly. "Now you're leaving your ship," Yuri said. Day jumped through the hole first, landing in Yuri's ship below. Hana followed with the cube. Yuri fired several more shots, keeping the security officers pinned down. "Captain!" Hana shouted up at Crix. Crix hesitated. His ship, his crew, his life was up there. But plasma fire scorched the wall above his head, and he made his choice. He leaped through the hole, his 4 arms windmilling. Yuri jumped last, her boots hitting the deck as the hole sealed behind her. "Hold on!" she yelled. The ship detached and accelerated so hard that everyone was thrown to the floor. Through the viewport, they saw the worthless Venture explode as Veltrax's ship destroyed it completely. Crix made a low keening sound, his mandibles trembling. "I'm sorry," Hana said softly. "Your crew made it to the escape pods," Yuri called from the pilot's seat. "I saw them launch before I docked." Crix didn't respond. He curled his 4 arms around himself and turned away. The ship jumped to faster-than-light speed. Stars stretched and blurred. They traveled for 3 hours before dropping back to normal space. "Where are we?" Day asked. "Somewhere safe," Yuri said. She turned in her seat to look at them. "You have the archive. I can't believe it. We've been searching for the archives for 700 years. "You knew about them?" Hana asked. "Every human knows about them," Yuri said. "It's part of our history. The 12 archives were supposed to preserve everything Earth was. Only 3 had been found before now. You just found the 4th. She brought up a star map. "We're heading to the Free Fleet base. Captain Jin will want to meet you immediately." "Who's Captain Jin?" Day asked. "The leader of the Free Fleet. The closest thing we humans have to a government in exile." Yuri smiled sadly. "There are thousands of us scattered across the galaxy, hiding like you were. But a few hundred live openly at the base. It's hidden in an asteroid field. The Council doesn't know it exists." Crix finally spoke. "None of this makes sense. Humans are extinct." "That's what the Council wants everyone to believe," Yuri said. "When they destroyed Earth, they hunted down every human colony, every outpost. They wanted us completely gone, but some of us survived. We've been living in the shadows ever since." "Why?" Crix asked. "Why would the Council commit genocide?" "Because we were becoming too powerful," Hana said quietly. She gestured to the archive cube. "This thing contains technology that's still more advanced than anything in the galaxy. Imagine what we could do with 700 more years of development." The ship shuddered as it entered the asteroid field. Yuri navigated carefully through the spinning rocks. Finally, she brought them toward what looked like a normal asteroid. A door opened in its side, and they flew into a massive hidden bay. The base was bigger than Hana had imagined. Corridors had been carved into the rock. Ships of various sizes sat in the bay. And everywhere she looked, she saw humans. Real humans, not hiding behind disguises. A man waited for them as they disembarked. He was older, maybe 50, with gray hair and scars on his face. He wore a simple military-style uniform. "Captain Jin," Yuri said, saluting. Jin's eyes went to the cube in Day's arms. His expression softened. "Is that what I think it is?" "Archive 4," Hana confirmed. Jin reached out slowly, as if afraid it might disappear. He touched the metal surface. 700 years, he whispered. 700 years we've been searching. He seemed to remember where he was and straightened. I'm Captain Jin, commander of the Free Fleet. Welcome home. Home, Hana repeated. The word felt strange. Jin noticed Crix standing awkwardly behind them. And you are? His name is Crix, Hana said. He saved our lives, twice. Crix clicked his mandibles. I lost my ship because of you. Then we owe you a debt, Jin said. You're welcome here, Captain Crix. Any friend of humanity is a friend of ours. Jin led them to a conference room deep in the asteroid. Other humans joined them, scientists, engineers, leaders. When Day activated the archive, the room fell silent. They spent hours going through the files. The more they saw, the quieter everyone became. Finally, an older woman named Tay spoke. She was the chief scientist. This is incredible. With this technology, we could rebuild everything. We could create a new Earth. Or destroy the Council, another man said darkly. The archive shows they murdered our entire civilization, someone else added. They deserve to pay. Jin held up his hand for silence. We'll discuss this later. For now, secure the archive, and someone show our guests to quarters. He looked at Hana and Day. You must be exhausted. As the meeting broke up, a communication officer rushed in. Captain, we're receiving a transmission. It's from the Hierarch itself. The Hierarch was the leader of the Galactic Council, an ancient energy being older than most species in the galaxy. On screen, Jin said. A hologram appeared. The Hierarch looked like a column of blue light in a vaguely humanoid shape. Humans, the Hierarch said, its voice echoing strangely. We know you have discovered one of the archives. Surrender it to the Council, and we will grant you a colony world. You can live openly again. Refuse, and we will find you and finish what we started 700 years ago. The hologram disappeared. In the silence that followed, Hana felt everyone's eyes turn to the archive cube. Their lives, their futures, their very survival depended on what they did next. The conference room erupted in arguments. We can't trust the Council, someone shouted. They'll kill us the moment we hand over the archive. But we can't fight them either, another voice countered. They have armies. We have a few hundred people hiding in a rock. Captain Jin stood at the head of the table, his face tired. Everyone, please. Calm down. Hana sat in the corner with Day and Crix. The Vortellian had been silent since the Hierarch's message, his forearms folded tight against his body. What do you think? Hana asked him quietly. Crix's black eyes looked at her. I think I've been living a lie. My whole civilization is built on murder, and I never knew. You didn't know, Day said. That's not your fault. Isn't it? Crix made a clicking sound. 700 years. We've been celebrating the end of the human threat for 700 years. There are monuments, holidays, and all along, it was genocide. The conference room doors opened. Tay, the scientist, hurried in with two others. She went straight to Jin. Captain, I need to show you something important. Jin nodded. Everyone else, take a break. We'll reconvene in 2 hours. The room cleared slowly, people talking in worried groups. But Tay gestured for Hana, Day, and Crix to stay. You found the archive, she said. You should see this. She activated a holographic display. It showed the 3 archives that had been found before this one. We've been studying these for decades, Tay explained. Separately, each archive contains incredible technology. But together, she manipulated the display. The 3 archives' data merged, forming new patterns. Together, they're pieces of something bigger. A Genesis device. What's a Genesis device? Hana asked. Tay's eyes shone with excitement. A tool to create planets, to terraform lifeless worlds into copies of Earth. Atmosphere, water, plant life, everything. With all 12 archives, we could build a new Earth, a real home. Day leaned forward. How close are we? We have 4 archives now, Tay said. We need at least 8 for the Genesis device to work. Maybe all 12 to make it perfect. So we need to find more, Hana said. That could take another 700 years, Jin said heavily. We don't have that time. The council knows we're out here now. They'll hunt us. A young woman entered the room. She couldn't have been more than 16, with bright eyes and nervous energy. This was Na, born on the base. She'd never seen Earth, never even seen a real sun. Sorry to interrupt, Na said, but I had an idea. Jin smiled at her gently. Go ahead, Na. Everyone's talking about using the archive to fight the council or to bargain with them, Na said. But what if we used it differently? What if we told everyone the truth? What do you mean? Tay asked. Na spoke faster, warming to her idea. The archive has records of everything. The council's attack, Earth's destruction, proof of the genocide. What if we broadcast that to the entire galaxy? Every species, every world, make them see what the council did. The council would just deny it, someone said. Could they? Day stood up, his mind racing. The archives have authentication protocols, DNA verification, temporal stamps. It's not something they can fake or dismiss. If we show the galaxy what really happened, we'd tear the council apart, Jin finished. He looked thoughtful. The council rules through fear and control, but they also pretend to represent justice and order. If the galaxy sees they committed genocide to suppress a species that was advancing too quickly, it would cause chaos, Crick said suddenly. Everyone turned to look at him. I know the council. I've lived under their rule my whole life. Most species fear them, but they also believe the council is necessary, a stabilizing force. If you prove they're murderers, whole systems would rebel. Is that good or bad? Hana asked. Crix spread his 4 arms. Both. It would weaken the council, but it would also destabilize the galaxy. Wars would break out. Species would settle old grudges. Millions could die. The room fell silent as everyone considered this. Jin's communication device beeped. He answered it, listened, and his face went pale. We have a problem, he said. That was our long-range scouts. The council is assembling a fleet, a large one. They've triangulated our position. How long do we have? Tay asked. 72 hours. Maybe less. Fear rippled through the room. Na's face went white. Day reached over and squeezed Hana's hand. Then we need to decide now, Hana said. Fight, run, surrender, or tell the truth. But we need to choose. Jin looked around the room at the faces of his people. We'll put it to a vote. Emergency council in 30 minutes. Everyone gets a say. The next 30 minutes were the longest of Hana's life. She walked through the base, seeing humans going about their lives. Children playing in the corridors, scientists working in labs, families eating meals together. All of it would end in 3 days when the council fleet arrived. She found herself in the archive room where the cube sat on a pedestal. Day was already there. I've been looking through the personal messages, he said. The last people on Earth recorded them before the end. He played one. An old man appeared in the hologram, sitting in what looked like a house. My name is Park, the man said in Korean. If you're seeing this, you're human, and you survived. I'm glad. I'm recording this in my home in Seoul. In 2 hours, the sun will explode. I'm not afraid. I've lived a good life. But I want you to know something. The council destroyed us because we were reaching for something better. Don't stop reaching. Don't let fear make you small. Be more than they could ever imagine. The message ended. Hana had tears in her eyes. That's our ancestor, Day said quietly. great-great-great-grandfather. Many greats back, but our blood. Hana touched the archive. He wanted us to be brave. The emergency council convened in the main hall. Every human on the base was there. Over 300 people. Jin explained the situation simply. They had 3 choices: surrender the archive and hope for mercy, run and hide deeper, or broadcast the truth to the galaxy. The vote was unanimous. They would broadcast the truth. But how? Tay asked. To reach every system, every planet, we'd need to be at the center of the galaxy, at the Council's own headquarters station. Then that's where we go, Hana said. Everyone looked at her like she was crazy. They're expecting us to hide, she continued. They think we're afraid. What if we fly straight to them, pretend to surrender the archive, and activate the broadcast from inside their own station? That's suicide, someone said. Maybe, Crick said, standing up. Everyone turned to stare at the alien. But I can get you there. I'm a registered salvage captain. I can request docking for delivery of dangerous human artifact. They'll let me land. They'll kill you, Jin said. Crick's mandibles clicked in what might have been a laugh. Probably. But I've been part of their lie my whole life. Time to make up for it. Hana stood beside him. I'll go too. It should be a human who triggers the broadcast, who tells the story. Then I'm coming, Day said immediately. Jin looked at them. 3 people volunteering for a suicide mission. I can't order you to do this. You're not ordering, Hana said. We're choosing. Jin closed his eyes briefly, then nodded. All right, we have 72 hours. Let's make them count. The salvage ship was old and battered, just like Crick's destroyed vessel had been. The Free Fleet had bought it years ago for missions like this. It looked harmless, barely worth noticing. Inside, Hana, Day, and Crick's worked around the clock. Tay had modified the archive to function as a broadcaster. Once activated, it would send its signal through the Council's own communication network, reaching every world in the galaxy simultaneously. It'll take about 30 seconds to fully activate, Tay explained, showing them the controls. Once you trigger it, there's no stopping it. The Council will realize what's happening within 10 seconds. After that, she didn't finish the sentence. After that, we die, Crick said matter-of-factly. I understand. Tay looked at the 3 of them. You don't have to do this. We could find another way. In 3 days? Hana asked gently. When the Council fleet arrives at the base? No. This is our best chance. Day had been quiet, working on his personal communication device. Finally, he looked up. I've recorded a message for Na and the others, just in case. Hana hugged her brother tight. She didn't trust herself to speak. The day came. Captain Jin gathered everyone to see them off. I wish I could say this was a good plan, Jin said, attempting a smile. But it's completely insane and will probably get you all killed. Thank you for the confidence, Captain, Crick replied. Jin's smile faded. He saluted them, formal and proper. You're giving us a chance. Whatever happens, we won't forget that. The salvage ship launched, leaving the asteroid base behind. It took 2 days of travel to reach the Council headquarters. The station was enormous, a ring of metal and light orbiting an artificial sun. Thousands of ships came and went every hour. The center of galactic civilization. Crick opened a communication channel. This is Independent Salvage Vessel, Second Venture, requesting emergency docking clearance. State your business, came the reply. I have recovered a dangerous human artifact. Type, Legacy Archive, requesting immediate handover to Council security. There was a pause. Then, clearance granted. Proceed to Docking Bay 7 Alpha. Security teams will meet you. They docked smoothly. Crick hid the archive in a sealed container marked with hazard warnings. Hana and Day wore disguise technology, appearing as Rendalian workers. The docking bay doors opened. 6 heavily armed security officers waited for them, along with someone in elegant robes. This was a council official, tall and thin, from a species Hana didn't recognize. "The archive," the official said without introduction. "Show it to me." Crix gestured to the container. "It's sealed for safety. Human technology can be unstable." The official nodded to the security team. They surrounded the container and began scanning it. One of them opened a panel revealing the cube inside. "Confirmed," the officer said. "It matches the description of Archive 4. "Excellent," the official said. "Bring it to the hierarch immediately. And execute these 3. The security officers raised their weapons. Crix moved faster than Hana thought possible. His 4 arms struck out, grabbing 2 officers' rifles and yanking them aside. Day pulled a small device from his pocket and threw it on the ground. It exploded with a flash of light and sound. In the chaos, Hana reached the container and grabbed the archive cube. "Run!" she screamed. They ran through the corridors of the station, alarms blaring behind them. Crix knew the layout, calling out directions. Left, right, up the ramp, through the door. "Where are we going?" Day shouted. "The council chamber," Crix called back. "Center of the station, their communication hub." Security teams appeared around every corner. They barely stayed ahead, ducking through crowds of confused civilians. Crix took a blast to his shoulder and stumbled, but kept moving. Finally, they burst through a door into a massive circular room, the council chamber. At its center stood the hierarch, a column of blue light that pulsed with anger. "Foolish creatures," the hierarch boomed. "Did you think you could bring your primitive weapon here?" "It's not a weapon," Hana said. She placed the archive cube on the floor and activated it. The device unfolded, panels spreading wide. The hierarch moved toward them, its energy form crackling. "I will disintegrate you slowly for this insult." "Broadcast initiating," the archive announced. 10 seconds to full transmission." The hierarch stopped. "What?" Hana stood in front of the archive. 700 years ago, you destroyed Earth. You murdered billions of humans because you feared what we could become. You called it necessary. Protection. You lied. 5 seconds. "No one will believe your human propaganda," the hierarch said, but its light flickered with uncertainty. "They will," Day said, "because this isn't propaganda. It's the truth, authenticated and verified. Everything Earth was, everything you destroyed, preserved in these archives." 2 seconds. The hierarch lunged forward, energy crackling. Crix stepped between the hierarch and the archive, spreading all 4 arms wide. The energy hit him and he screamed, his chitin blackening and cracking. "Broadcast active!" The archive pulsed with light. Across the galaxy, on every screen, every device, every communication system, the transmission began. It showed Earth, beautiful and blue. Then it showed the Council fleet arriving. It showed the weapon firing into the sun. It showed Earth burning, and it showed why. The files on dimensional research, the fear in the Council's own private communications, their discussions about the human threat and the necessity of elimination. The hierarch shrieked, a sound of pure rage. It released Crix, who collapsed to the floor and turned toward Hana. But the chamber doors burst open. Yuri rushed in with 20 Free Fleet soldiers, weapons raised. "Get away from them!" Yuri shouted. Behind her, more ships were docking. Jin's voice came over the communication system. "This is Captain Jin of the Free Fleet. We have 10 ships and we are not leaving without our people." The hierarch seemed to realize it couldn't kill them now. Not with the broadcast going out. Not with the galaxy watching. It flickered and vanished, retreating to wherever energy beings went when they fled. Hana ran to Crix. He was badly hurt, barely breathing. "You saved us," she said, tears running down her face. "Worth it," Crix whispered. "Finally did something right." The Free Fleet medics arrived and took him to their ship. Hana, Day, and Yuri grabbed the archive and ran with them. As they launched from the station, they could see chaos erupting, ships fleeing, others attacking. The broadcast had done its work. The galaxy was fracturing. For the next 5 years, that chaos continued. Some species left the council entirely. Others demanded the hierarch's removal. Eventually, the council collapsed, replaced by a new galactic assembly where every species had an equal voice. The humans were granted reparations. Not one world, but resources to build their own future. Other archives were recovered in the confusion, 7 in total, enough to activate the Genesis device. Hana stood on the surface of New Earth, feeling real grass under her feet for the first time. The sky was blue. Birds sang in the trees. In the distance, the first human city was being built. Dai was there with her, leading the technology exchange program. Crix had survived his injuries and now ran diplomatic missions, helping other species recover their own lost histories. Na ran past them, laughing, chasing a butterfly. She'd never seen a butterfly before. She'd never seen so many beautiful living things. At the center of the new capital city, they built a memorial, a simple stone monument with Korean characters carved into it. Hai Mung, hope. Beneath that, they listed every name they could recover, every human who had died when Earth burned, billions of names. It would take years just to read them all. Jin stood beside Hana at the dedication ceremony. "Do you think they'd be proud?" Hana asked. "The ones who sent out the archives?" Jin looked at the memorial, then at the city rising behind it, then at the children playing in the grass. "I think," he said slowly, "they'd be amazed that we chose truth over revenge, that we built instead of destroyed. Yes, I think they'd be very proud." Hana touched the stone, feeling the carved letters under her fingers. Hope. They had found it floating in space, dismissed as trash. They had almost thrown it away. Instead, it had saved them all. The sun set on New Earth, painting the sky orange and red. Real sunset on a real world. Hana breathed in the evening air and smiled. They were home.